welcome to another episode of This Is Our Year. I'm your host, Michael Kurland. Joining me, as always, my partner in crime, Dougie Fresh. What is going on, Dougie Fresh?
What is up, Mike? How we doing this Wednesday?
Doing well.
April 20th.
Happy 420. Happy 420.
Happy 420 to all those who celebrate. And for those that don't know, this is kind of the weed smokers' big day. Always associated with weed. I always forget why, because of course I'm a true stoner. Not really mom and dad, but yeah, it's a big day.
Big day. It's and living out here in California, where I know that I'm pretty sure Colorado was the birthplace of legal recreational marijuana, but California was not too far behind.
Yeah.
They had on the local KTLA is the local station out here for news, and my mom and my mom's boyfriend were in town visiting for the weekend, and we were watching the news this morning because that's what they do. I don't do that. And KTLA was on, and they said they showed the 420 deals. And I don't know if you have this in Connecticut, but if you go into Jack in the Box today, it was Jersey Mike's today out here in California, they will give you a discount based on how high you are for 420.
Come on.
I took the photo of it, and it was a play on words. It was based on what altitude you were at for the store's altitude, which is hilarious. But the way they advertise it is based on how high you were, you got up to a 20% discount on your Jersey Mike subs in California.
That's amazing, but for all the listeners, please don't get high and drive to Jack in the Box. It's not recommended.
No, that's something
or have someone else drive you
at 2 a.m.
Yes, maybe that.
So Dougie Fresh, what are you drinking today?
So I don't know. I think weed is legal in Connecticut now, or maybe it's like next month when recreational sales start. So to tie it in, look, we tied it in for St. Patty's Day last month, so I figured we'd tie it in. I don't have any THC drinks. I know they're out there. I don't know if you've ever sampled them, but the next best thing, and we're going to be making a cocktail today. So here's my glass.
Very nice.
We're going to do a couple of glugs.
What's in that glass currently?
Oh, okay. Well, right now there's a little bit of Cointreau. I didn't have much to mix this with, but you'll see where I'm going in a second. Okay. We're going to put a couple of glugs of a little Casamigos tequila in here.
George Clooney's finest.
That's right. Shout out to George. So, 1, 2, there we go. It's good enough for an NFL mock draft. And for our drink today, we're going to have a Thomas Hooker Brewery Chill AF margarita flavored CBD seltzer. How about that? So
I like where your head's at. Creativity 10.
Thank you. This is probably completely disgusting.
Yeah, I was going to say,
but
I'll let you give a scale of the taste after you make this.
I'm kind of taking one for the team here, staying on theme.
Very nice.
We got to make this thing fun, man. We got to spice this thing up. So, can's a little broken, so it's going to take me a while. But yeah, I'm going to be mixing this little margarita cocktail for this episode. So
I love it.
While I do that, why don't you let us know what you're up to today?
Today we have a Cirque Pinot Noir 2018 from the Russian River Valley, Sonoma County. Cirque is one of my favorites. And it's delicious. It's from the Brown family. They put on a bunch of different wineries. They own a bunch of different wineries. This is one of their collaborations, and it is quite delicious. So, yeah, let's.
You've been going to a lot of Pinot, and I respect that.
I love Pinot Noir.
It's a nice.
It's one of my go-tos.
Especially when you're drinking in the afternoon, right?
Yeah, that is correct, Douglas. That is correct. We also have something to celebrate today. I don't think we've announced it yet, or I've announced it yet, because you would not announce it. But,
it'd be weird if I did, yeah.
Yeah, but so that's parents were here under the pretense that it's Easter Passover weekend, but they were really here this weekend to find out that they're going to be grandparents, and I'm going to have a baby. So,
congratulations, Mike!
Cheers,
That's just awesome news.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
I always knew you'd take the plunge, and you're going to be a great dad. So I'm sure you and Alex are super excited, and to get your sleep now, of course, right?
Yeah, that's been rule number one: get your sleep, or suggestion number one: get your sleep.
Yeah, that's
and appreciate the vote of confidence. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm excited. We're excited. 43 years old. I'm going to be the old dad, but only old by age, not by.
That's right.
Not by the way I get things done. I got more energy than most people.
It's all up here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all up here.
And I don't look 43, so I'll take it. So how's this CBD concoction? 1 to 10.
I think I got the ratios right. I might put a little more tequila in there. I don't know. It's not bad, dude. I'm not cringing.
Got it.
The Cointreau helped. I don't know. I think you have to find something. I didn't have any limes. Make the margarita however you want, maybe. But it's honestly not terrible. So,
well, cheers to that.
Here we go. Yeah.
Cheers to that. So speaking of 420, I know this is a New York sports show, but what is your preference for the marijuana? Is that something that you like to dive into, or is that
here and there?
Here and there.
If I don't have any responsibilities, and oh god, my parents are watching this, so maybe it's not a surprise, but now that it's legal in the country, sure, I'll partake. It's not really a social thing for me though, unless it's some kind of environment where it's cool. I'd rather hang out with a beer. Maybe like a nice Sunday, put on a movie, burn one down.
Yeah.
I think you're kind of the same, right? I don't see you.
No, man, I don't touch it, man.
Oh, you don't touch it at all. That's right.
No, I do. I actually take CBD right before bed, which is whatever, a CBD gummy, 5 milligrams right before bed. And it just helps me sleep a little bit better, but I don't touch THC. It does not, we back in high school, partook more than our fair share, and it just started making me really paranoid, and I just never recovered from that paranoia. And I don't enjoy being paranoid. So
yeah, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
I actually do the CBD gummies as well. Whenever I have some kind of chronic pain or something, it's great, and as you said, it doesn't really mess with your head. So I don't know. It's nice that there are all kinds of options out there, though. You can find what works for you these days, as opposed to texting someone, randomly or late night. So
right, and you don't know what it's sprayed with, and you don't know where you're picking it up. So absolutely, I think it's a good thing for it to be legalized and centralized and watched and grown and organic if you want it to be, and however else. There's no pesticides, hormones, whatever else can be mixed with it. So to each his own, and I don't think it's as bad. I think everyone can abuse anything, alcohol included.
Yes.
And
yes.
so as long as it's...
we should have a disclaimer for this stuff as well. I feel like this stuff causes a lot more problems in this country. So.
Agreed. Just has more marketing money behind it right now because it's legal.
I know. I'm waiting for Jeff Bezos just to buy up all the little marijuana companies now, and just in 10 years, that's going to be the only choice.
Amazon weed.
Right.
All right. We're way off topic.
We're way off. Okay.
In 24 hours or less. So I figured we got a few high-level topics to discuss before we get into our, little mock draft Wednesday here on 420. It's time, but we're gonna make the audience wait just a little bit. And I think the first thing we want to just acknowledge is the passing of one of the all-time great New York Islanders. It's been a fucking rough year for the New York Islanders family. R.I.P. Mike Bossy. Yeah, number 22, 50 and 50. Way too young.
But most will say that the greatest goal scorer ever that they've seen. If you go by game, he is more than Mario, more than Wayne, more than Ovi. The only guy who actually might catch him if he goes crazy is Connor McDavid. McDavid's actually hovering right below those three. But yeah, man, just another tremendous loss for the Islanders family, and it's been the year from hell. We knew this guy. We knew he was sick, unlike Gillies, but it still hurts. So I dug up the old card. Here's Mike Bossy card, and man, only 10 years, right? he had to retire with back issues, and what could have been if not. He might have gotten to 1,000 goals. Who knows? A rest in peace, Mike. And man, the Islanders are just. We just need to reset next year, and that's about all I have to say right now.
Yeah, I think and to your point, R.I.P. Bossy, and the Islanders season also unceremoniously came to an end this past week, and I think we can do a deep dive and a postmortem on a future show. But
in a month or two, I'll start getting excited about the draft, stuff like that. You'll hear way too much about hockey prospects, and but right now, it was the season from hell. I can't think of another team that's gone through so much crap in 1 year. Look, they're still out there fighting. I love Sorokin, but thankfully we have some other cool stuff going on to talk about, man. How about your Nets?
Yeah.
What a game. I know it ended not the way you wanted to, but man, this might be a hell of a series, huh?
It's going to be a hell of a series. I said Nets in 6. I still believe it. Right. I think, postmortem of game 1, KD couldn't get it going early on. It was like 2 for 10 from the floor. Turned it on in the second half. We missed too many foul shots and only lost by 2. And God damn it, I'm just going to say it. And, I sound like a disheartened Nets fan, and I don't care because I watched the game from start to finish. The refs were definitely homers in that game. How KD, there was literally a play where KD went up for a layup, and the replay shows Brown like ripping his hand down, and they didn't call it. And it's like, if KD's not getting that call, then how the fuck is Tatum getting calls? How's Horford getting calls? I don't understand it. So, there was at least 3 missed calls on KD alone in that game where they were doubling, they were manhandling Kyrie, they were manhandling KD. And if that's the series that they want, the refs are going to let them play, then they got to call it both ways. They got to call it both ways because Drummond was getting ticky-tack fouls, and it was dumb. So I think that those whistles are going to even themselves out throughout the whole course of this series, and they'll only lose by 2 when they gave us their absolute best.
Yeah.
Right? And
on a broken play at the end, by the way.
On a broken play at the end, and good job, Tatum. He's a great player. I'm not taking anything away from him. Horford played like the veteran playoff battle-tested guy. Brown was good. Smart played great defense as usual.
Brown was all over everyone. Smart was all over. The Celtics can play defense, man. This is going to be tough. I didn't mention this on the show last week. But I got it in under the wire before I started the game. I watched the game on delay, but I didn't know what was going to happen. I went to Jenny. I was like, Mike picked the Nets in 6. I'm going to pick the Celtics in 6. I just kind of forgot how relentless they are on D. They maybe don't have the flashy score that you guys have, but man, they get after it. And I'm not saying it's doom or gloom. I think it's going to be a great series. You're right. I wasn't really thinking about the imbalance with the refs. I remember thinking that, wow, they are calling a ton of fouls on the Nets early on. And then there was some stuff in the fourth quarter where it's like, wow, like Durant was just getting mugged. But I also thought that the Celtics did a really good job containing Durant. And they tried to do the same with Kyrie, but holy hell, he was impressive in that hostile environment. He didn't care, and he was knocking down everything, man. He is such a good playoff player. Whatever you think about him otherwise. So,
yeah, he's the difference. He's the difference in that team. KD is all world, and even at 33, still top 3 player in the league when he's healthy. But he can't do it all by himself, and Kyrie just gives him. You saw in that game why Kyrie is one of the top players in the league. He's 6'2", and he can create a shot from anywhere on the floor, no matter who's guarding him.
Yeah,
he can create a shot from anywhere on the floor. He can penetrate into the paint. He has one of the best fall-away jumpers I've ever seen in my lifetime, and he's got one of the best handles I've ever seen.
And his teammate has one of the greatest ones too, by the way. So that's saying a lot. Nothing phases him. He has that confidence.
Yep.
It's very rare, I think. So
yeah, and I appreciate you saying Boston in 6, but I think to your point, a lot of fouls on Brooklyn early. They kind of evened out until the fourth when there was a lot of whistles swallowed on Boston.
Yeah.
And I think,
and that's their game. They're going to smother you guys. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think, we also had Curry couldn't hit a three that game, and Claxton couldn't hit any of his foul shots. Which
Brown looked a little didn't look confident.
Yeah.
Well, right. I mean, he looked reckless. I don't know. Maybe he's always confident, but maybe he was trying to do too much too. So
Bruce, you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I expect you guys to punch back.
Yeah, and think of it this way: you on the road, you want to take 1 or 2 in Boston. If we walk out with the win tonight, even series, best of 5.
You're not in trouble till you lose a game at home.
Yep.
So
that is true. So but I still
it's gonna be fun tonight, man.
I can't wait. As soon as we get off this call, that's where I'm going. I almost wore the Nets gear today, but Mock Draft Wednesday was too much for me.
Yeah, we got big business to attend to, but actually, any more Nets thoughts, or you want to get to the Mets?
No. Let's go. Let's keep it moving, Dougie.
Nice. How about the Mets?
How
the
about
Masons, baby?
Those New York Metropolitans. How you feeling, Doug? How you feeling through Mets, 11 baby. Games? Through 11
Let's
games.
Let's go Mets, baby.
How you feeling?
The Mets.
Yeah.
How can you not feel good, man? The part I was most worried about that I'm on record was the starting rotation, and they have a fucking 1 ERA right now.
Yep.
Right? 1 point something. I mean, it's been more than we could imagine from those 5, Peterson included.
Everyone's looked great. Hefner looks like he was the right pick to keep on that staff. So, we talked a lot about X factors and predictions and things of that nature. You were a little bearish, and I was a little bullish.
Yeah, you got that right.
Yeah.
And how could I not be? It was typical, Jake DeGrom getting hurt, going down, Walker,
so how are we feeling? Who you said the GOAT and the scapegoat. So give me your GOAT and scapegoat of the week for the New York Mets.
Oh man, already there's so many to choose from. It's hard not to give it to Pete, who has I think he's in the top 5 in RBI.
He leads the National League in RBIs. Yeah.
Yeah, he leads the NL.
So that
put me on the spot. It's honestly, it's hard to pick a GOAT right now. It's maybe not fair with, again, such a small sample size, but Seth Lugo doesn't look right.
Nope.
I hope he works out his issues, or maybe it's just time for us to move on from him. Drew Smith looks capable. Almost gave up a home run yesterday in the doubleheader, but he's getting it done. He has a 0 ERA. So I got it. So that's the bad GOAT, right? Seth Lugo. That's the lowercase GOAT if we're doing this thing. And by the way, Jenny was telling me no one understands what the negative connotation of GOAT means anymore. So we can ditch this this little thing if we want to. But before LL, that's what GOAT meant, right? That you were the scapegoat. You were the guy who gets blamed. So I don't know. I thought it was something. But anyway, all that aside, the capital G GOAT, I'm going to give to Frankie Lindor, who's just looked again. We just talked about confidence. He's doesn't look like he did last year starting the year. He's got 3 or 4 home runs already. Game-winning RBI yesterday. Typical self in the field. And looking like a leader. So let's give it to him. Slightly over Max Scherzer. I mean, everybody's look good, though. Like how do you choose?
Yeah.
So,
hey, I would.
Those are my picks.
I'm on board with your picks. I think yesterday was the doubleheader against the San Francisco Giants, who are a top team in the league this year. They were top. They won their division, or
107 wins last year.
Yeah, they won the division last year.
No joke.
Correct? Yeah, and they got a great pitching staff, and we got to their young ace yesterday in the second game. But the first game is what I really want to, follow up your Lindor GOAT, G-O, capital G. Go to the week.
We got to work on this.
But. Yeah, we will. It's okay. Yeah, for the 12 listeners out there, we'll come up with some better acronyms. But you said it yesterday when we were texting. Last year that we lose that game in extras. We were down 4-1 in the third. McGill got roughed up a little bit early, and then The
You
K-
know, he battled back. He battled through 5 innings, I believe,
yeah, he
to his
did.
credit,
He did, and then our bullpen pitched
which
lights
is
out.
really important in a doubleheader.
Really important in a doubleheader because you need to lengthen that bullpen,
Yeah,
and we don't want to lengthen our bullpen. We want to lengthen their bullpen, and
right.
we go to the bottom of the 10th. We should have won it in the bottom of the ninth. That I questioned Buck's letting Jankowski hit there, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. We still got the W, and Lindor.
Yeah, but by a hair, by the way, that replay with Pete and that stretch.
Well,
Again,
we still would have tied it in the bottom, right? Well, maybe they would have brought their closer in. I don't know. Everything changes, but we win it.
You never know.
We win it in the bottom of the 10th. Lindor with a game-winning hit, and he's been on fire the last week, which has been great to see. Like we predicted, he would settle into his role as a superstar in New York. There's a great article on The Athletic about him actually doing just that. How him and Buck had off-season conversations about stop trying to be everything to everybody and stop trying to live up to your contract. Every time you're at bat, and just be yourself because that's what got you here. And so they both were on the same page about that, and that's what he's doing. He's playing pretty good, pretty great defense, clutch hitting, power, doubles. He's leading that team. So he's the go to the week, and I totally agree with you. Seth Lugo is the scapegoat of the week. He doesn't look right. Something's not right with his delivery, or something's hurting him. I think he'll be on the DL sooner than later. I hate to say it, but he just doesn't look like himself. And maybe he needs surgery. Maybe he's got a dead arm. Who knows? But I like the way Buck is deploying the bullpen. We're not relying on him so much. Drew Smith, Trevor May looked great yesterday. Thank God.
Oh yeah, that was really good to see. By the way, because he was up and down last year too. But he should be a guy that can step in for Diaz when needed.
Yep, and he did just that yesterday.
Got it done. Right.
1, 2, 3, 9 or 10th, whatever. Yeah, we took 2 of 2 from one of the best teams in the National League yesterday. I think that was the big chatter. Was we beat the shit out of the Nationals and the Diamondbacks. Cool, but we beat the Phillies 2 out of 3, which we're not really sure what they're going to be yet. But the Giants were our first stiff competition this year.
Yes.
And so far, we got 2 more games against them. I'd love to see him win at least one of these 2. I'd love to see him win both of these and do a 4-game sweep. But
oh my God.
If we take
we got Chris Bassett going tonight, so I already like our odds.
Yeah, I'll take a 3 out of 4 from the Giants. I'll be happy with.
Yeah.
That's really how when it comes down to it, win every series. 2 out of 3 every series. You're gonna that's 660 baseball or 667 baseball, right? So I love it. I love what I've seen so far, and I do. Aside from this one bullpen blip or pinch hitting blip that we saw yesterday with Buck, I think it's I didn't like the bullpen usage in the Washington game. Other than that, he looks like he's deploying his bullpen right. He looks like he's pushing all the right buttons. He had JD take that second base on that appeal throw.
Oh man,
which was
what a great play.
I've never seen. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Me neither. And once I think it was Keith or maybe it was Ron called out how great of a play it was, and then it dawned on me what just happened. That's I don't want to dog the guy, but that's not happening last year, right? It's
I've literally never seen that happen, and I've watched baseball for 40 years. So
right.
So from my point of view, it's just genius. Just the fact that he knows that rule book inside and out. Like no one is going to be like the players have said it. No one's going to be more prepared. No one's going to outsmart him. With a way to catch someone off guard, and just those little tiny things. Those are the things that make the difference between 88 and whatever and 90 and whatever. And those 2 games can be the difference between first place and last place wild card, right? So,
yep,
yeah, so,
absolutely. It's funny. We're 9-3. It's week 2 of the season. We're maybe irrationally high, as Anthony mentioned before you joined today, but it brings me back to Terry, and I know we got on Terry Collins a lot back then. But at the same time, I remember during that 2015 run, guys like Daniel Murphy were making plays like that as well, like taking that extra base. And it's just good to see actual baseball, like guys moving motion. They're stealing bases this year. which is awesome to see too. You and I have been around long enough to remember when that was a part of the game, and maybe baseball's going back to that.
Stealing
maybe
bases.
we're getting out of an era where it's just like dingers and shifts, and starting to take advantage of each player's individual talents, and not saying, oh, stolen bases are a waste of time or they're not worth it, because it makes the game better. It makes the game more interesting, makes the game more engaging. So I love it. It's hard to pick. It's hard to, everyone's doing great. I just want to say one more time, it's so good to see Lindor not really pressing, and he doesn't need to press with this lineup.
Nope.
He doesn't.
Nope. Epler did a great job. I was kind of feeling like unsure about Marte and Canna because I didn't watch a lot of American League Baseball last year, specifically Oakland A baseball. Didn't even know who Mark Canha was. Marte thought maybe he was a little over the hill, but that guy is in great shape. He does not look to be 32. He can still run. He's got a cannon for an arm, and he's been hitting clutch. Canna, before COVID, looked great. And I think we've just got a really versatile lineup where we got a second base, left field, DH, first base, where everyone's getting in the games, getting their at-bats. Pitchers are pitching, and the lefty pitchers are coming around. Rodriguez had another good inning yesterday. Shreve had another good inning the other day. We look good. We look good, man. I don't have many complaints other than Seth Lugo looks not great. So
let's bookmark this. It's what, April 20th.
Yep.
It's the Mets, but oh man, it's fun. Right.
It's fun.
And okay. I forgot. I had one more point about the Mets. Oh, dude. I want to give a shout out to Escobar too. Really clutch hit yesterday.
Clutch hit.
So again, this whole lineup, except maybe catcher position, but every team that's kind of a weakness. So.
They're calling good games with that staff and keeping that ERA down. So if they don't hit, they don't hit.
There you go. These starter ERAs are going to regress, but again, I think the lineup can handle it.
Yep.
Oh, I remembered. 2 or 3 years ago, I don't know if you remember this, but there were rumors, I think it was during the offseason, about a Nimmo for Marte trade, and this was back when Marte was on the Pirates. And I remember being against it. So I was against it because I think I realized how valuable Nimmo is. It wasn't really a knock on Marte, because Marte is like a couple years older and less control, I think, at the time. That's why I was against it. But man, it's great to have both of them now.
Yeah.
On the top of that lineup, right?
It's great to have both of them in that lineup. And Nimmo just keeps doing what Nimmo does. He just gets on base. He's been poking a few homers over the right field wall. Always got a smile on his face. Always hustles. Got no issues with the guy. Just keep that neck healthy, buddy. Just keep it healthy.
Yeah, man. Exactly.
And no COVID, please. So.
Hey, there's a conspiracy theory going around that he's actually vaxxed. And he just wants to, keep that on the DL. But
wouldn't surprise me.
Who cares?
Who cares? So let's get into the meat and potatoes, what we've been just practicing for all week, Dougie.
You bastard. You didn't tell me we're only doing 10 picks, man. I did all 32.
Now you're prepared for fantasy football. now you're prepared. So you got
we draft a lot of offensive tackles in our leagues, so yeah, I'll be ready.
All right, Dougie.
And cornerbacks. But yeah.
So we're gonna do this odd even top 10 picks of the 2022 draft. We're 8 days away from draft night. We'll record again. We won't be able to record next Wednesday, but we'll be recording on Tuesday, which will be 2 days before draft night. But we'll be so close to it. I think this is the time. Yeah. This is the time to get that.
This is the time to do
the mock draft out there. Right, exactly. So we're not doing any trades.
Yeah, for better or worse. Like, trades are going to screw this up immediately. Full disclaimer, we're throwing darts here, guys. Please don't get too angry at us.
Or get angry. Leave
sure.
Angry comments in the below in the chats. Come on.
Fair enough. You know what? You know what? Fair enough. Make it personal.
Yeah. So the way we did this was Dougie's going to do the odds, so that way he can have both the G-Men's picks, only fair. I'm going to do the even, so I can have both the Jets picks.
Oh, God. And it works out perfectly because you get stuck with the quarterback slots, and I have no idea what's going to happen with QB. So.
Well, I'm ready for him. I've been listening to football
nice.
mocks since about
nice. I can't wait then.
November.
And yeah, so
So without further ado, man, you're on the clock,
Okay.
buddy. You're on the clock,
I Jacksonville Jaguars.
and I
As
want
they
to
say
hear.
down there.
Yeah, I want to hear why and what your like reasoning is, and let's get in
Sure.
depth here. So go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, we got a lot of time to kill, right? So for the Jaguars, as they say in London, their other home. Oh God, there's been a lot of hype for a certain person to suddenly rocket up the board and go number one, right?
Trayvon Walker.
I'm not going with that. I'm sticking with the sure thing. I think there's a little bit of prospect fatigue. You know what? I think there's a little bit of prospect fatigue with like maybe the top 5 here, other than Walker, which is natural for this time of year.
Yeah.
But no, we're going to go with the sure thing here, and maybe this is not exciting or edgy, but I think it's a good pick for the Jags, and it's Aiden Hutchinson from edge from Michigan. I still think he's the consensus, maybe not the consensus anymore, but he's been the number one spot for a long time. He's got the character, he's got the commitment, he's got the moves, man. He's the full package, and in this modern NFL, when you get an edge like that, you take him, right? So he is the number one pick. Maybe not to too many people's surprises.
I don't disagree. I think it's going to be a toss up because the only other person that I could see in that slot would be Trayvon Walker, like you were alluding to. I think it's a very Jacksonville thing to possibly do with Trent Baalke at GM on draft night, and it's because I think he's got the higher ceiling, he's got the lower floor. But I mean, you can't go wrong. You got Josh Allen already. The defensive Josh Allen had 14 sacks last year, and I think they only had like 35 sacks overall as a team. So, more than almost half of his team sacks. Pair him with someone that so they can't double him at all times, and that defense can become somewhat of a wrecking ball. So I
like either way, it's a need, right? Edge and. I mean, they could use an offensive lineman too, but I don't think you pass up either of these guys, right?
Yeah, and they also franchised Cam Robinson, who's not a great left tackle, but why are you going to franchise him?
Yeah,
if you're going to take someone like Ekwonu at number 1, which I don't think is also off the table, but probably a distant third of those 3 guys if we're talking. All right, Dougie, I like it. I like the thought process. I like everything.
Now, this I can't wait for because I did a full draft and I kept flipping 2 and 4 back and forth. So, without further ado,
yeah, man,
Detroit Lions are on the clock.
So, I think there's been. I'm in the same boat with you. Is Trayvon Walker the guy? Is Kayvon Thibodeau the guy? Are they going to go Malik Willis at QB? Are they going to take one of the cornerbacks? Aaron Glenn, the Jets' old cornerback, is their D coordinator in Detroit. And, I think at the end of the day, again, you mentioned, you made a really, really good point about prospect fatigue. And as a Jets fan, I hate saying this, but I really think the number 2 pick is going to be Kayvon Thibodeau. I think there's just too much upside there. He's a very ready-made, high-end prospect coming out. I think, he's been so much on tape for 3. He was the number 1 prospect for 3 years. They've been talking about him being number 1 overall for 3 years now. And now it's like you said, it's like kind of similar to Camille Rocker with the Mets last year. He had been talked about as the number 1 prospect for 3 years, and then he fell to a 10 at the Mets, who they didn't sign. We still don't know why, but that's neither here nor there. I think Thibodeau is going to be a good pro. I think, I'd love to see him fall to 4 and the Jets take him, but I think he's going to Detroit at 2.
Yeah, I that's where I had him. But then I kept saying, man, this Walker hype, like what? But you know what? Maybe we'll save a little Walker commentary with Thibodeau. Again, all the tools, but everyone's talking about his attitude, right?
I think smokescreen season, right? They got to talk about something.
Sure. And his ceiling is high. We talk about Walker's ceiling. This guy's ceiling is high as hell. And unless I'm completely screwing this up, this is Dan Campbell's team, right?
This is
If
Dan
anyone
Campbell's
can,
team.
if anyone can motivate this character guy, right? Character issue man. And admittedly, I didn't watch too much of him, but I think it's Dan Campbell. So I think this pick makes a lot of sense. I don't think they reach for a quarterback here. Especially, I mean, if they want to do that, they have the 32nd pick, and maybe they want to trade up later to get a QB to go behind Goff for a year. Either way, I agree. That's a good pick for Detroit.
And I also agree with you on the 32nd pick overall. I don't know if they'll trade up. I don't think I'm going to tell the audience, spoiler alert, I don't think we're going to have a quarterback picked in the top 10 in this draft. In this mock draft, and I don't think in the NFL draft it's going to happen either. I just don't think there's a need to jump up.
So I agree with the first part. I wouldn't either, but someone's going to get drunk and do it. You know they are. if not two.
If that's why draft night is always must-watch TV. Must-watch TV.
That's right.
So beautiful. Well, Douglas, what you got going on with the Houston Texans down here? At 3, you got Lovie Smith taking over. You got Nick Caserio out there from the shit Patriots as their GM. Lovie Smith's first year, elevated from D coordinator. Where are we going with the 3rd pick overall?
And I appreciate the lead in with Lovie because obviously he is a defensive guy, right?
Absolutely. Cover 2, one of the kind of perfected that, correct?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of a legend. Without the head coaching success, but as a coordinator, this is going to make the pick I have make no sense compared to that. Unfortunately, I think they go lineman, and I think that Icky is just too good to pass up. I want Icky and or Neal to drop to the Giants, not as a spoiler, and I'd love either of them, and I'm just. After reading everything, sure, they could go Walker, and that would be awesome as a Giants fan. But I think they go Icky here. So I'm going to go with Icky. He's just a nasty run blocker, right? And people think he can be a top pass protector too. So he's maybe got to work on that a little bit. But I don't see how you pass on either of these two guys, and we'll get to the other one later. In terms of line, and if they're going to build something in Texas, I think that's the way they want to go. In Houston, that's the way they want to go. So feel free to disagree. I could see Walker going there too, but that's my pick.
I agree with you. I think at the end of the day, Icky might be the best player in this draft, aside from Sauce Gardner. I think that Houston has so many needs. And I think
it's similar to the Giants.
Correct. Similar to everyone in this top 10, to be quite honest with you. Because you got the Jets and Giants picking twice. So you really only have 8 teams, and they're all the shittiest 8 teams in the NFL.
Pretty much all a shit show, yep.
Yeah. So I think I don't disagree with you. You can make the argument for Walker. You could make an argument for Sauce Gardner. But I think this is where Kwanu goes. I think he's the best lineman in this draft. I think you watch if you want to build properly and you don't have a quarterback, you build the wall around him first and then you drop that quarterback in there. And I think that I can't disagree with you.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, here we go.
Well,
drum roll, please.
I think you've made the draft at number 4 easy for me. And I think this is how it's going to work out on draft night too.
You don't think the Jets are taking an offensive lineman, right? I think we've already established that, right?
I think if it had gone Hutch, KT, and Walker in the top 3, I think they'll take Ekwonu because the value is there. And I think they'll figure it out with, either it just gives them – they're taking a tackle in this draft one way or the other. And I don't think they want to take one at 4 if they don't have to. But I think if that's the way it shakes out, they'll try to trade out a 4 if they can get great value and still stay in somewhere in the top 10 or 15. But I don't think at this rate they'll take Trayvon Walker at 4. And the reasoning behind that is they have faith in that coaching staff to turn him into a wrecking ball at end. He doesn't have the production in college, but if you know anything about Joe Douglas, there's 2 things that he drafts a lot of. One is team captains. I don't think Trayvon Walker was a team captain, But the second thing is he takes high-end RAS athletes, and Trayvon Walker.
For our listeners, what is RIS?
RAS.
RAS,
Shit.
sorry.
Put me on the spot here. I know it stands for athletic
know
score.
either.
It's something athletic score. Hold,
Gotcha.
please. Hold, please. It means...
So while you look that up, this is where I had Walker too, actually. So far we're pretty much in lockstep.
Yeah, keep it going for 1 second.
So this guy's huge. He's long.
Relative
he can
relative
run.
athletic score. Relative athletic.
There we
score.
go. Relative.
Yes, and thank you for the fill-in. Yeah, so his relative athletic score, I think Trayvon Walker was like a 9.97 or something crazy like that. And a 10 is a perfect score. And it's based on your height, weight, position, and how you did at the combine. And if you look at how Joe has drafted over the last couple of years with the Jets, he has only drafted, I think, 2 players that weren't in the upper 75 percentile in RAS for their position, or they've been team captains. So
nice.
I think you take this guy who's got the biggest ceiling of a D end. He's 6'4", 270, ran like a fucking 4.6 40. Can did all the he's a workout warrior. Now
right. You got to mold the technique a bit, right?
Yep. Oh, and he lined up. He played over the guard as an end in the Georgia defense, and he was supposed to eat up linemen, so the linebackers, that defense is made so the linebackers can make all the plays.
Very good point. That's what I learned this week, that Georgia just did not rely on their edges to rush.
Yeah, so they play I want to say like a 3-2-6 or 4-2-5 or some shit like that. But basically their line is not meant to get to the quarterback. They do a lot of stunts and they eat up the guards so that the linebackers can break free and get in the backfield. And so he's never actually lined up on a wide 9, and that means on the outside shoulder of the tackle. I mean, I'm sure he has, but I think it was a very small percentile of the time that he's rushing from the outside shoulder of the tackle. And so it gives him a guy with all the intangibles, and with good coaching, hopefully he can develop into a guy that can get to the quarterback. So do I love the pick? I don't know. I think on paper I can be talked into it, and I think if this is the way the draft unfolds, if I can't trade back from 4 and we're not able to do trades here, that was a rule, I'm taking Walker right here. I don't think I can reach for Sauce Gardner. Not that it would be a reach. I just think the way that the Jets defense is built, we don't need a number 4 pick in Gardner, and we do need a defensive end very, very badly.
That is a very good point for later on Sauce. But before we move on to 5, we have the big 3 edges now that we've just discussed. Couple, maybe just one, you could say is somewhat of a prospect. So I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you think any of these 3 bust? And again, are the Jets roll up and take Walker or Thibodeau? Are you worried at all?
I have faith in this coaching staff to coach the best out of the talent that they have. I think that this defense, we converted from a 3-4 to a 4-3 last year. We brought in personnel to play that 4-3, and our personnel got injured. Our starting edge, Carl Lawson, our big free agent signing, got hurt. So we haven't seen what this defense can really do when it has non-replacement level players playing a majority of the snaps. So I think, give Ulbrich and Saleh, that's what they do. Full OTAs, mini camp with anybody of these 3. I think I'd be happy with any of these 3 to come to the Jets. I'm not worried. I think Walker's got the biggest bust potential out of all of them. But I'd still love his athleticism, and I say bring it on. But if I'm worried about the biggest bust potential, it would be Walker.
Okay. I had no argument there, but again, what do we know, right? We've just read some mock drafts and listened to some podcasts. So.
Dude, what does anybody know? You go back and look at even the experts that do this. They do this just for clicks and reads, just like we are, right? And listens. And I mean, no, half these people are wrong.
I know.
I mean,
And
Mel Kiper Jr., like the guy, is wrong like more than a hitter in baseball. So
I don't know if you saw that, but he has Garrett Wilson in the top 5.
he has been mocking the Jets with a receiver at this spot
Right.
for like the
Right.
last 4 mock drafts. And I'm just
Did
like,
that come into your thinking at all?
no,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Okay.
No, absolutely not. I would. Not
I
take a
completely
receiver.
agree with you. There's a bunch of nice receivers in this draft, but at 4,
Right. And so to your point, if I could tell you my ideal, it's KT if he's there. If all 3 are gone, it's Iquanu or trade back. And
Okay.
if Walker's there,
so that's your top 4.
Yep.
We've already gone through them.
Yep.
All right. Well, fair enough. On to number 5, right?
Yep. You got your guys. Your boys are on the clock there, Dougie.
Giants are on the clock. I think this is going to be pretty predictable. I know there's some talk about the Giants trading this pick. I think that's a really bad idea. If they don't come out of this draft with a big offensive lineman, especially on the right side, I think it's a big loss for this year, no matter what they get for next year. So I think this is a slam dunk. Feel free to disagree with me, but Evan Neal goes to the Giants to shore up that right side, right tackle. And I just think it's a no-brainer here. And he's the other big guy. And then we're talking next step down is maybe Charles Cross. I don't think I just if they really believe in Charles Cross, fine. But I would be leaving the draft with a bad taste in my mouth if they traded down out of this pick or didn't snag Neal at 7. If he's available, I think he's an absolute no-brainer. Your thoughts?
I totally agree. I think this is the easiest pick in the entire first round. Yeah. I think one of Iquanu or Neal is going to be there at 5, and I think the Giants will.
Right.
I think the Giants won't trade out. I think they will, have it already written on their card. I could see Evan Neal to the Giants makes so much sense, and I think it's going to be the pick that will be. If I could pick one lock in this entire draft that I would pick right now, gun to my head, it would be Evan Neal to the Giants at 5.
Yeah, and look, you want to tell me maybe he's got to work on his run blocking, or God forbid, maybe he's a little undersized, whatever. He's just an elite pass blocker, and I think even Mel Kiper probably agree. Maybe he doesn't, but it wouldn't make any sense to get cute here. It is Joe Shane, but I think they're committed to building something, and this is how you build something, right? So you got Thomas on the other side, and then Neal. You're suddenly looking really good. So
yep.
I don't know what else to say. I think it's pretty. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and
watch them take Sauce at 5, so or trade it. But
the argument can be made that you take Sauce at 5 if Neal and Cross are still on the board because you're getting one of them at 7. So maybe I take back the gun to my head answer. But yeah.
They must really like Cross though in that situation.
I've seen Cross shooting up boards as well. I think him and Neal are. I think Cross is the most polished pass blocking left tackle of the group, and I think Neal is the most polished all around of the group. And you can slide him into guard for a year. You can move him out to left tackle. You could switch him and Thomas.
Right. There's the versatility there. Yep.
Right. So I agree with you. No arguments from me.
All right. On to number 6. This is the Panthers slot. So we're officially into possible QB territory here. But what are you thinking?
So I'm going to forget the noise and the smoke screens. I think, they just brought in Bob McAdoo as their offensive coordinator. He said that Sam Darnold's their starter, and then in the same interview said, I shouldn't have said that.
That was hilarious.
Hilarious. Very, very Bob McAdoo-ish.
Still the last man to lead the Giants to the playoffs, though, and a couple other guys have had the chance.
I mean, he was the Packers' O coordinator. I think as an O coordinator, he's not terrible. I think, you got the running back, you got the receivers. I don't know who plays tight end for the is it Ian Thomas? I don't think he's much of a threat, but maybe I'm wrong.
There's another guy that got hurt too, and I can't think of him off the top of my head.
They got everything in place except for possibly quarterback. and offensive tackle is a big issue. And I just don't see them reaching for a guy like Kenny Pickett, who does Kenny Pickett. I mean, if you're going to take anyone, right, you're going to take Kenny Pickett in this spot because. So for me, Matt Rule's on the hot seat already. We already know this.
Yeah.
So is Matt Rule going to take a guy like Malik Willis who needs
I agree with you there.
Probably a year to sit.
Yep.
Yeah, he needs a year to sit and learn behind who? Sam Darnold? Is he going to take Kenny Pickett, who's the most NFL ready but the lowest ceiling per se? I don't see it, man. I think they go with the left tackle. I think they take Cross, and I think they shore up that left tackle position, and then get McAdoo in there with Sam, and hopefully he can hand the ball off. And hopefully McCaffrey doesn't get hurt, and he can make his throws and he can hand it off to Cross. Maybe they make a trade for. I mean, not Cross to McCaffrey. He can make the throws to Anderson and Moore, and maybe they can trade for Baker or they can trade for Jimmy G. I don't know. I just don't see them taking a guy like Kenny Pickett here and trying. Like, you're not going to the Super Bowl if you draft Kenny Pickett. It's not happening. So it doesn't make sense to me.
I'm a little surprised at Cross being the pick, but I agree that Kenny Pickett isn't saving your job, right?
Right. I think you need that left tackle. So
the only thing I wonder about is that they're like the one team that doesn't have multi picks in the first round, or maybe the Falcons don't either, that are in the top 10, but. Like this is their one shot at quarterback, unless they like someone like Coral, like to start the second round. Maybe they do that. Maybe you're right. And I know their defense is solid as hell, unless they've had some personnel losses that I missed in the offseason. I don't hate it. I did have them picking a quarterback, but I kind of didn't do this one because I knew I only had to do the odd picks. So
love it. Love it.
But that's crazy. So it's a good thing the Giants took Evan Neal at 5 because you have Cross going at 6. It would be an utter disaster if the Giants missed on all 3. And also, I know I said Neal at 5. If it's reversed, by the way, just for the record, I'm thrilled to get Icky on the Giants too. Anyway, I think I'm on the clock at 7 for the Giants again.
You are?
Who knows? Maybe someone gets drunk and wants this pick. I don't care, though. I think there's a guy who really, really fits the new D coordinator scheme. Wink Martindale, great name, by the way. For those that don't really know Wink yet, he loves to blitz, right? He loves to rush.
Loves to blitz?
Especially on third down. What do you need when you're doing that? Yeah, you need a lockdown corner, man. So it's sauce time, baby.
It's sauce time. Great
it's
pick.
Sauce time.
Great. And great pick.
I would be ecstatic if I think Giants fans agree. Josh, let me know. But I think Giants fans are ecstatic if they get one of Neal or Kwanu at 5 and then Sauce at 7. Your thoughts?
No, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. You walk out with a starting shutdown corner for Martindale's defense and a starting right tackle, and you got 2 big building blocks for your coaching staff, and you do that every day. 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah, and
kudos. You get an A.
What else to say? But
you get an A, Dougie, for your draft.
I get an A?
So this pick right here is, I think, the most, it could go anywhere.
Who the hell knows?
Who the hell knows, right? I think Atlanta is in such cap purgatory that they are, Marcus Mariota is their starting QB. It doesn't even make sense to draft a quarterback this year because you're starting the clock on them, unless you think it's Malik Willis. But I don't think
a lot of people have Willis going here. I kind of agree with you. Why?
If I'm Atlanta, you've got a year that you've got to just clear all this dead cap off.
Very similar to the Giants. That's why I didn't want the Giants to take quarterback.
Right. So you take someone. So to me, a lot of people also have a wide receiver going here.
Yeah.
But I don't think
that I could defend a little more.
I don't even go there. I actually think if I'm Atlanta, right now there's a player in this draft that has the most upside on the table still.
Oh wow.
And you take that guy.
You're going to do it, huh?
Yeah, you take Derek Stingley right here, right?
Because, oh shit! I thought you were going to say someone else.
Yeah, no, you take Derek Stingley. He was consensus fighting for number one with Thibodeau 2 years ago. He got hurt. He hasn't been able to play, but he did his pro day at LSU, proved that he had come back. And you take the cornerback, and it's a premium position that you can let the guy, if he can't play day one, if he's got to ease his way back in, great. But if you knock this one out of the park, you've got yourself a guy that could have gone number one overall at the 8th pick. So that's where I'm going with that.
Mikey, you're killing me. I had Stingley going next pick. I was so ready to talk about how the Seahawks were gonna love that this guy dropped to him. What am I gonna do? But yeah, you're right, man. People love Stingley. Trent McDuffie's out there too. He may go like a couple of picks after, right?
Absolutely.
And then we start getting into receiver. And when I made the top 30, I had a hell of a receiver run. I ran out of receivers by the time I got to the Cowboys, who I think could realistically take a receiver. So I had them reaching for like Christian Watson or Mickens, I believe. But either way, God, I can't really disagree with this pick, other than as you mentioned, the injury concerns. Some people question his battle level, but you're right.
Yeah, I mean,
you really can't go wrong.
You have nothing to lose at this point by taking this guy. You could take a safe pick like Kyle Hamilton. I don't think a safety is a building block pick. And then you take one of the quarterbacks, you take one of the receivers. Who the fuck's throwing the ball to him? At this point, just you're punting on the season anyway. So take the guy with the most upside, in my opinion.
Well, you've ruined my draft.
I just monkey wrenched your draft, so
you did. Oh, and that's also because I had a couple of quarterbacks going already. So Stingley's out. I'm gonna go to the Mind Palace and talk through this. Seattle at 9 already has Adams, right?
And Diggs. They just spent a ton of money on. They have the highest paid safety room in the NFL.
Yeah. So forget Mr. Hamilton. How do you feel about receiver? Is this where you think? If the draft went like this, do you think they would grab Garrett Wilson?
I mean, they got DK, who they're saying they're going to pay, and they got Lockett, so no.
Yeah.
I don't see them doing either of those things.
So I'm like kind of bumping up, or they'd go McDuffie or maybe Jermaine Johnson.
McDuffie is the hometown boy, right?
Yeah. He went to Washington. He quick, sound, physical. I'm reading my notes. He can play. He can start in the slot, but he's going to be a guy who can play outside.
And they got to replace DJ Reed, who went to the Jets. So it makes sense.
Go. So there's going to be a little mini run of cornerbacks here with Gardner, Stingley, and McDuffie. So that's my pick at number 9.
I like it. It makes total sense. Perfect. Well, here we are, the final pick of our top 10, Douglas, and it's been a lot of fun. I think ideally with the news that broke today, which we didn't even talk about, that Debo requested a trade from the 49ers.
Oh, I know. There's so much going on.
If the Jets do happen to pry him away, I do think that it's going to cost us this pick right here.
Yeah, it totally will.
But we're not.
But I think you're going to be happy, right?
Oh, if we traded the 10th overall pick for Debo Samuel and we signed him to a long-term deal, absolutely. Sign me up. Not the 4 and the 10. Not the 4, but the 10. I do it for the 10.
That's fair.
But yeah, as far as if we're picking in this slot and I'm Joe Douglas and we haven't filled that receiver, I want to walk out with a receiver, a cornerback, and our edge. We got edge at 4, and cornerback will probably be someone I pick at the end of at the top of the second round. So
a lot of cornerback depth still available.
But none
outside the top 3.
None to take right here because there's a cliff after McDuffie.
Yes. Right.
So I got the pick of my wide receivers, and there's been debate. Is it Garrett Wilson? Because he's ready-made for.
I'm fascinated by this. I want to know who you value most. So.
Garrett Wilson runs the crispest routes, and he's ready-made. He's got body control, but he's undersized. But he's ready-made for this offense. Drake London. He is the 50-50 guy, 6'4", but he's got great yak, and that's also tailor-made, and he's the one thing we don't have for this offense. Then there's Chris Olave, who also runs. I think he's actually the best route runner in the draft, but he's got no yak,
right.
And he's got 4.4 speed. But fuck all that noise.
Oh, I love it.
I'm going with.
I love it.
We
Do
wanted
it.
we wanted Tyreek Hill. I want
Do it.
the Tyreek Hill, the closest thing to him, and I'm going to go Jamison Williams.
Yes!
Pick. I will take the injury risk. ACLs. You can come back from an ACL nowadays in the NFL. I'm taking it. I'm going with it, and I think, you give him. Maybe he's not ready by OTAs, but he's ready by camp, and I want that kid. I want that kid because he can take the top off. And he can do everything that Tyreek Hill can do. So,
my God, I'm celebrating, not necessarily for the Jets, but just because I bumped this guy up like right with Wilson. If I needed a receiver, this is who I'd go with. I don't care. Maybe he misses like the first 4 games or 6 games or whatever. Do you care about that?
I don't think he's going to miss any games based on everything I've been reading about him. So, but I mean, if he was going to miss half the season, maybe I would care a little bit more. But I think he's going to miss some OTAs, maybe a little bit of camp. But I think he'll be ready by week 1. So no.
You said it best. He is your Tyreek alt, and you didn't get Tyreek. So if I'm God, I'm just spacing on your GM right now. Douglas, yeah, I jump at this over Wilson, London in my limited knowledge of all these guys. I love it.
I love it. Oh, well, that was fun, Doug. It's been a good.
Let's go. I got 20 more picks. Let's go.
And some more margarita stuff to go.
No, we switched to ranch water again.
Smart.
We're gonna bring it. Yes.
Smart. Well, it's been great talking mock draft. We will we'll be reconvening less than a week from now, 2 days before the draft. We'll be getting into some Mets and some Islanders. But until then, Dougie, what you got to say to the audience?
Oh, look, no sign off today. Rest in peace, Mike Bossy.
Yeah, pour some out for Mike Bossy.
Yep.
Till next time, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
This podcast was produced by Heartcast Media.